for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Central Valley Talk. I'm your host. My name is Ray Johns, and the name of my show is Ray Johns American Patriot. Now, my American Patriot this week is Dorothea Dix. What a lady. I tell you every week, someone has to write a film about some of these ladies. They're just phenomenal. She during the Civil War, let me go back a little bit. Prior to the Civil War, she was very instrumental in this country for starting the insane asylums. She stood up against the cruelty done to the mentally ill, and she was the first person to start the insane asylums. When World War II broke out, she was the head nurse for the complete Union Army. I mean, the whole thing. She was the head person. And she had a very strict code. First of all, she didn't want anyone younger than 35, and she wanted plain-looking women. She said she didn't want attractive women because they would have a problem. A lot of the doctors were against her because they didn't want female nurses on the staff. They wanted male nurses, and they were hard to find. So she ran into a lot of blocks because of that. Had it not been for Sarah Barton, who overshadowed her, she would have been probably the best-known nurse in the history of the Civil War. But the lady was just phenomenal. She had medals given to her. She was documented and decorated with just a ton of medals. So my American Patriot for this week, Dorothea Dix. I want to recap some of last week. I have three very good Republican friends who are watching this show today. I know they are. And we've been going back and forth because they were so against what Donald Trump did. And one of them actually told me, said, I'm with you. He said, I've been for everything Donald Trump's done except this. And I don't think they quite get the picture. I think Gary painted a pretty good picture last week, and maybe they didn't get it. And let me just come down to the bottom line. It's a matter of economics. It really is, and it's a matter of money. Donald Trump is an economist. He's a financier, okay? And he's proven that. And with the military, it's the same thing. Those people no longer be that. Wait a minute. Let me bring in Gary. Hi, Gary.
How you doing, Ray?
I want you to come in and comment on this. And Gary, he did it last week. I'm going to ask you to redo it. We talked a little bit prior to the show today, and I'm going to ask you to comment on that. About the
it's
pulling out of the troops.
We have to go back. In fact, we can go back. In fact, go back way longer than that. But let's just go back to Dwight D. Eisenhower, who was a general. And went and experienced a major war, which is World War II, which he was commander-in-chief and so forth, the European campaign. And his concern or fear was that someday our military would grow into it'd be like an industry.
Which it has.
Industrial complex. Look at the size of the Pentagon, as an example.
Perfect example.
Well, what happens with war is that war requires a tremendous amount of machinery and logistics, and it requires, of course, manpower. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people who are involved in certain facets of it, I don't care if you have a factory that provides all the caps that they wear in the military. There's billions of dollars involved, and in fact, there's trillions of dollars involved.
It's a ton of money, Gary.
Well, it's just huge.
Isn't it like 79 cents out of every American dollar goes?
I don't know.
It's. I think I read it was 79 cents.
But these people see Trump as someone who is actually affecting their pocketbook.
Sure.
Which they've had all these years.
70 years out of the World War II.
Growing and growing. So we look around, we find ourselves all over the world. We find our military with people all over the world. And this is a tremendous cost to the taxpayer. Now, a lot of these countries that we have our military in are wealthy enough to defend themselves.
We've made them wealthy because they haven't had to pay for their own defense.
Well, who do you think pays for that defense?
We do.
We do, the taxpayer, okay? So now we have the American people paying all over the world to have our military in countries that, quite frankly, they can afford to do it themselves. And if they can't do it themselves, they probably don't need us in there because there's nothing that they can do to really adversely affect.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to look at it. Who are these people? That's back to the establishment, uniparty, elites, billionaires that want to keep the wars going. And this is why Trump has received such negative about it. Okay, now let's analyze though a little bit.
Good.
How does Trump do that? Okay, and let's try to keep it simple. And what we see in every war, going back to, I mean, as far as you can go, the leader or the commander or the dictator or whoever it is, I mean, the president or the premier or whoever it is, you never see them get their hands dirty.
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay, it's the people, the everyday people who lose their lives and shed the blood
Sure.
and so forth, right? So, but the leader never experiences that. And what Trump has done is change that by using economics instead of bullets and bombs.
Brilliant.
So now what does that do? It affects the leader directly, not the guy that's out there giving his blood and life for
Yeah.
it. Now it's the leader. Okay, do we have evidence of something like that? Absolutely. Look what's going on in France.
Mm-hmm.
It's the people. So the leader is the one that feels the pain, not the people that are walking up and down the street. And so when I look at people that are, and this is what you're going to see, we have to look at some of the evidence now. And it's only been 2 years that Trump has been using this this method of combating and pulling our troops back, all right? Combating the other side, all right? The enemy, as we call it. Okay, let's use Korea, North Korea as an example.
Real good one.
Okay? If you'll notice that since Trump has applied the economic pressure on China, there hasn't been any rockets fired
From North Korea at all. Yeah.
Okay, had Hillary been elected,
Oh, my gosh.
or someone similar to her, we would have had a war by now with the amount of rocks
absolutely.
that we okay?
Yes.
Now, here's what that would have resulted in. It would have resulted in millions and millions of people dying in South Korea, North Korea, Japan, and you name it.
Yeah.
And possibly even here.
Yeah, possibly. But certainly Japan and
Right.
South Korea.
And in those areas. So you have to look at it, because that was the thought. Boy, everybody was kind of thinking that, man, we're going to be going to war. We're going to, any moment.
It was a thought on
Trump's
everyone's
going to
lips.
Moab there.
Yeah.
And immediately there would have been rockets fired into South Korea, into Japan, all over it would have killed millions and millions and millions
Absolutely.
of people. Okay, and guess where we would be right now? I mean, it'd be a disaster
Sure it
for
would.
us, right? Okay, well, that was all avoided. How was it avoided? It was avoided by economic pressure.
Economic pressure.
So
Absolutely.
it's economics instead of bullets and
Yeah.
bombs. Look to the difference. And we see that now all over the world.
Well, you made a point last week about Pakistan,
Yeah,
is kind of like China in a sense,
exactly. They're like, every country has something. It's like you have you see a whale and it has a little pilot fish on top of it, keeping the barnacles off.
Yeah.
Well, every country's like that.
Yeah.
You see, and so when we look at what Trump is doing, he's solving these issues by the use of economics, so that and it's at a point to where the leaders feel the pain and not the people.
Gary, how good is that going to be for the country when we bring those troops out? And we're not spending all that money. All that money is going to come back to the
It's money that comes
American
back to
taxpayers.
Well, look at our debt of where it's at, and then obviously you would think that if we don't have to spend that, we can do other things.
Absolutely.
Or at least pay down the debt. So I don't have any problem with that because I see the result. Now,
Sure.
first you have to do something. You notice that Trump went in there and cleaned out ISIS first.
Haven't heard of ISIS.
And
Haven't heard of them.
then you don't hear no more
Yeah.
about them, right? Well, ISIS is not a country. I mean, it's a terrorist group,
Yeah.
and you're not going to solve them with economic, other than you did cut out their oil.
Yeah.
But it's a different deal. Those people need to be, and that was the orders.
Oh, yeah.
No prisoners, just kill them all.
Annihilate them.
And
The only way to go, like we said last week. There was no other choice.
There's no negotiation.
These
with
people
the
cut
ISIS.
people's heads off.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
what are you going to do? You're going to put them back out there so that they continue to do that?
I mean,
No.
there's
You kill
no,
them. You kill them.
There's no negotiation that comes out with anything with an ISIS or a terrorist group like that. Okay, so what we're seeing then is what we should never have gone into Iraq to begin with. That was done
Very true.
on a false premise of weapons of mass destruction, of which there were none.
Yeah.
So, but see how that
That was
gets-
like an excuse, I think, Gary.
Well, of course it's an excuse.
You know,
what else is
yeah.
it? What else is it?
Yeah.
So we go in there. There's our military machine, and look when did we get out? I mean, it's been going on and on. So it perpetuates these people getting rich off of what it boils down to, the fear of war
Yeah.
and all that.
Oh, yeah.
That's easily used in a propaganda
Well, sure.
style. So we convince the people, like you mentioned, your buddies thinking, oh man, we can't pull our troops out.
Oh.
What in the world does our troops have any business being in Syria?
I hope you guys understand this a little bit better, by the way.
I mean, think about it. It doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense once you've rid of ISIS.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing. Now, how about the leader? That guy. Well, what are you going to do with him anyway? It's economics that's going to control him, and
Sure.
it's going to be pressure from some countries that you may not realize at this point.
We haven't heard from Kim Jong-un in a while, have we?
No.
He hadn't been in the news and nothing because China shut him up, you know.
Well, and I think he wants to be shut up. You know, he kind of says, I think I'll go with Trump and get that McDonald's.
I love that. Yeah. I'll go have that Big Mac.
Yeah, I'll
with
get that
Trump,
Big
yeah.
Mac in my hometown, and I'm not going to get with China because I've had enough of them bowl of noodles. You know.
I love it.
So anyway, yeah, it's just a different approach to how you handle conflict and so forth. But Ray, you got to look at it and say to yourself, well, what in the world are we doing in these nations who have wealth?
Japan, and Germany.
Well,
Yeah.
and do not have to. Well, I mean, look
And,
at that. All
we've
of
been
Europe.
there, and we've been there,
All of
Gary.
Europe.
We've been there, Gary, for 70 years.
And
How
look-
much
and
money
look-
has been spent?
Yeah, and
in
look at
70 years?
look at the wealth. I mean, let's put it this way: a lot of those countries like Denmark and Scandinavia, they can afford socialism. Well, if you can afford socialism, you can damn well afford to defend yourself.
That's right. That's right.
Because socialism is a byproduct of capitalism.
And what happens? Japan just gets richer and richer. Germany
Well,
gets richer and richer.
well, you can't
off
blame
the
them.
back.
I mean,
no. Off the backs of the American taxpayers. We're paying for that.
Yeah, we're getting smarter, and this economic thing is huge. You know, and
They always said, didn't they? You want to hurt a person, hit him in the hip, National Bank.
yep.
You know.
Well, these leaders are having to. We're seeing it happen to the leaders. Look at the people that are revolting in Iran. You know, that's revolting in France.
Yeah.
As an example, look at this leader, a socialist leader.
Yeah.
But look what's happening to him. See, and I think that if you really analyze that at this point, why do we even need to have these troops over there? There's no war in Germany. There's no war in
Japan?
I mean, what is
No.
because these people are getting rich off of it.
Yeah.
Not only those people in Germany, but the Americans that happen to own. If you owned a tank factory, you'd like to keep making tanks. Wouldn't
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But like you said, maybe even that old boy that makes those hats, you know.
Well, sure. I mean, it affects a lot of people that want to keep it going, but from an if using economics as an example, it's far safer for American. Well, if you had a child getting ready to go into the military, I mean, you'd feel a little safer that he's home, not over there, right?
Absolutely.
And why should he be over there when he doesn't need to be?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, in other words, why should it be over there just because somebody else is getting rich because of it?
Yeah, and that's the reason.
And it's not you.
Yeah.
It's somebody else getting rich because of it.
Yeah.
But you sacrificing your child over there.
Plus paying for that.
Now, if you're going to go, and now if they're talking about threatening the United States itself, well, sure.
Sure, it's a different story.
Different story. But we got which is part of the deal. It's a two-edged sword. We build the strongest military in the world so that you won't even think about it.
Exactly. It's like insurance, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like insurance. And then you build that insurance, or you have that insurance policy that prevents them of even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Okay, at the same time, don't be spending people over there doing stuff that doesn't need to be over there doing. And when somebody else could be doing it and should be doing it themselves.
Because it's their country.
Yeah.
For crying out loud.
Now, it makes all the
Great
sense in the world the way Trump's going about
Sure it does.
doing that. And so I don't have any problem with it at all. And now you got to remember, though, we're bringing troops home, but we're not bringing home an airplane that has
make
the
that
ability.
point. Gary talked to me about this prior to the show. Yeah, Gary, make that point about it.
We have aircraft over there. We have the technology now. We could pinpoint bombs either through manned airplanes.
Yeah, should there be a problem?
Drones.
Yeah, we've still got the
the
capability of shutting it off right now.
In a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. So let's say that something does go that is a surprise or a threat. Let's say like the Syrian. He gasses his people. And boom, we're there right now with a flight of two.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
And you made a point about the aircraft carriers.
We have aircraft carriers. I mean, they can go all over. They float all over. We don't have to have people all stuck in a base.
We got an aircraft carrier. We got our planes right there if we need to take off from anywhere we want to take off from.
No,
absolutely.
We just don't need to have the. I mean, that goes back to, like I said, it goes back to Eisenhower, but that goes back to that kind of thinking that we're thinking right now with that is as far as they should be there, the troops should. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It did maybe.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. It did after World War II to rebuild these countries.
Well,
and so
sure,
forth.
for a short period of time.
Yeah, but
that was done.
Yeah, and look. You got to remember, this is coming off of the back of the American taxpayer.
That's the whole key thing.
And that's the key thing. And I don't think it's fair to the American taxpayer when, I mean, Ray, just think about it. I mean, just common sense. If you could afford to have security guards around your shop over there, okay, and you're required to have that because you do get a need for it. Mm-hmm. Okay, do you think for one moment that somebody in the town of Sanger, those people should provide you with that 24/7 security?
It's my responsibility.
That's your responsibility. Yeah. Why should the taxpayers pay for that?
Yeah.
Now, if you have police protection and so forth, but that's different.
Yeah.
Than a 24/7 that you think that you ought to have.
I've got a security guard at my place, and we had a burglary a couple of weeks ago where they took some stuff, and of course the police came out and took a report, and
that's
that was
what it's
required.
For. And that'd be the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a little problem over here in Syria. Man, all of a sudden there's a flight of two coming off that carrier. Going to go take care of that issue.
Yeah, done.
Why?
In a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat. Yeah. We have ISIS over here in this building. Then they're raising Cain or whatever. Boom.
Out.
Yeah. I just don't see any need for ground troops over there at this point.
I agree with you.
Now,
totally.
if we have a war, what's the United Nations supposed to be? Aren't they the ones that's supposed to be? I mean, here we are paying the United Nations. Those guys aren't even paying for that.
I remember. I remember a long, long time ago. I think it started out as the League of Nations, then it became the United Nations.
League of Nations. That's
and I've always wondered, what the hell do they do? What is their purpose? They seem like one of those worthless organizations that, for an excuse to just pay some people some money.
That's the way it looked like to me.
Yeah,
that's how I see it.
Yeah,
I see it just as an absolute worthless something.
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
I mean?
And I've thought that for years.
I mean, I've thought for years we should be out of the United Nations. What good do we get out of it other than paying these people, and they're not paying?
There you go. More money.
And the taxpayers is getting nailed all over the place like that. And what Trump is attempting to do is put some common sense to it, which common sense means dollars and cents in our individual pocket, which he's already started by lowering the tax rate. and he wants to cut it some more.
Yeah.
And why?
Yeah.
Why? And he'll cut it some more.
He will.
You know. And the American people got to start giving themselves being good to themselves. For
First of all, there's a certain mass out there that have to realize what's going on.
Yeah.
They have to do your own due diligence and see what great shape this country is coming to.
Oh, it's fabulous. I mean,
unbelievable. 2019 is going to be a phenomenal year. A phenomenal year.
Well,
I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm going to make a lot of money.
Well, what is going to be a big deal, and it's unknown right now, but a huge, huge deal. In fact, probably the most important thing in Trump's mind is the deal that he makes with China.
Absolutely. I wanted to talk about that today. I got so excited I pounded my microphone here. But yeah, Gary, let's talk about that. I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, because China, the trade deal, see, we've already seen there's been 700 products that China has already taken the tariff off.
Jeez, that's a lot, Gary.
And here's the thing you got to ask yourself. Our GDP, stock market and GDP, the GDP and let's say look at our stock market, it goes up. Mm-hmm. How come China's has gone down? You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do see what you mean.
Okay, so if China's has gone down, what's happening is China's getting more and more as the time goes by. China gets more and more desperate because it is working.
Sure it is.
And so they want a deal and need a deal more than U.S. does.
Oh, of course they do.
And so we have given them a 90 days, which means no new tariffs in 90 days. We've held what we got, and they have 90 days to come up with agreement. We have guys.
They'll do it too.
Well, we have guys gone over next week, and these are meeting with Chinese people, and not the top guys, but these guys, because that's the big thing in China is save face. So these guys are meeting with the people that they can negotiate something that isn't in the best interest of China that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And the leaders not lose face because of it.
Yeah.
You see, they'll put it on them and not on
Sure.
us, right? I mean, on that part of it. Okay, so that's taking place right now, but we're working from a position, in terms of China, we're actually working from a position of strength because their economy is going the opposite direction of ours.
And it's been going the other way all these years.
Yeah, and we paid for all that.
We paid for every bit of it.
Okay, so now what you have is a big important thing on March. That's a deadline, you see, that this negotiation has to be, or what Trump's going to do is throw a bunch of more tariffs on China.
And it continues to go down.
Oh, and then it's going to continue to go down.
Yeah.
And he's going to throw those tariffs on there. In the meantime, look what's happening. We're making billions and billions of dollars off those tariffs right now.
That's awesome.
But he held there. You
Yeah.
know? And he said, okay, no more. We're going to go and negotiate this and come up with a deal. The deal has to be good for China also.
Well, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's how. Now, China's not going to have the luxury of ripping off the American taxpayers like they've been doing ever since the last, 30, 40, 50 years?
Yeah, 50 years.
Yeah, something like that. So anyway, what's going to happen let's just assume for a moment that a trade deal is made, it's favorable for both, and I should say fair.
This is what he's trying to do. He
Yeah.
wants it to be favorable to both China and us.
Yeah, it's going to be fair to China and us. Okay, let's say we do that. Ray, our economy hasn't seen anything yet.
Oh, isn't that exciting though, Gary?
That's got to be exciting.
Exactly. It's going to be off the chart.
Right.
It really is. I can't wait to see that.
And that's what Trump is marching on right now. Now, who loses in stuff like that? Ray, it's the globalist, elitist establishment. And that's why everything, they're putting pressure on constantly. I mean, any little thing.
It's affecting that hip national bank.
Oh, it's every little thing. Trump doesn't, whatever he does, if he goes left, they said they should have gone right. If he goes right, he should have gone left.
Yeah.
Should have made a left turn instead of a right turn.
Yeah.
If he goes right, should have made they're going to continue that to get it into the public's mind that Trump isn't doing well.
It doesn't matter what he does. It's like I heard one guy say one day, he said, if somebody looked out there and said, my gosh, Donald Trump is walking on water, somebody would say, he knows where the rocks are.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No, it isn't. But the general public is starting to get more and more tired of that.
Yes, they are.
And this is an indication. Okay, Fox News, which for years was a conservative part.
Oh gosh, they're starting to change
of the ABC networks, right? All the alphabet networks. Fox News was okay, right? I mean, they were the conservative, but he has two sons, which he turned it over to, that are ultra libtard.
Oh gosh.
So what has happened to Fox News? You know that.
I've seen it, the change.
Well, for the first time in 17 years, MSNBC outrated Fox.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that, Gary.
First time in 17 years.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that the people that MSNBC are getting more viewers. It just means Fox is getting less viewers. Mm-hmm. Where are the people that have been watching Fox who no longer, myself included? Mm-hmm. Where do they go? Well, they go to the social media. They don't go to MSNBC, but they go to the social media, and they
because I've seen it. I've seen it happening. I mean, we still got Hannity, and
even Hannity, he screws up. I think I got the only one that I actually have any faith in Fox News is Lou Dobbs.
I like Lou Dobbs. Yeah.
The rest of them, they buy it like and I don't know that I haven't. They buy it at Trump, and they buy it. Well, he did this, and then. The thing that really turns off after a while is not necessarily maybe the commentator that Fox has, but it's the guests they have.
Oh,
I don't want to listen to those people.
No, why would you? And it's almost like they have to have somebody on there who's opposite to be fair. Well, it's almost like that's why they do it.
But it's not fair because they're putting out fake news.
Yeah,
and they sit there and come out with propaganda. And I'm sitting there watching Fox, and I got to listen to that? Yeah. No. So I just top the channel and go listen to something else.
Sure.
Or I don't even bother with that. But you're not going to sit there. After a while, I have had all I want of Juan Williams, Geraldo Rivera, and Shepard Smith, and Brer, that guy.
And what's that guy, that black guy, Lemon, or whatever his name is?
Well, that's CNN.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But you had enough of all that.
Yeah.
And then they bring those people back in there, and you just said, I'm over that now.
Oh, I will. I'm with you. I haven't CNN and those I haven't watched in years. Will not absolutely refuse.
Well, those people have. Fox News is losing by the millions viewers. Yeah. Well, people that just like myself. Mm-hmm. Okay, I talk to friends of mine. They all do the same thing.
Sure.
They don't watch Fox anymore.
Yeah.
Even casual people that I think don't really have that much interest in politics and all that. I don't.
Yeah.
I stopped watching Fox News.
Yeah. Well,
that's evidenced by the rate.
Sure.
First time in 17 years. And now look how lousy MSNBC is.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean they all flock over to MSNBC. That just means that maybe they're here, but it means look what's leaving Fox.
Fox is going down.
They're not going over but they're going elsewhere.
Look at the changes in the last 2 years with Fox, how they've gone. They've almost did a 180.
Well, that's when they took, you remember Roger Ailes?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was Murdoch and Ailes and that. He kept Fox. He's what made Fox work.
Yeah.
But when these two sons of Murdoch come in there and took over, those guys are libtards.
God.
And they just, let's face it, look at the evidence.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen any of that stuff that liberals do that works for them? They all end up losing it.
Well, sure they do.
Like these comics, these comedians, and so forth. Once they start that, it's just a road to nowhere.
Oh yeah.
So I don't see where there's anything gained by these people continuing to bash and people, even people that don't mind seeing Trump bash are
tired of it. Yeah. Are tired of it. It's the same thing every single day that you turn these on.
I talked to a guy the other day. He says, He says, man, he says, I just about had it with all that back. And he did not vote for Trump. But he said, I've just had it with all that.
I talk to people all the time, and they're not Trump supporters, but they've had it. They're tired of it, you know.
Well, and then you got to ask somebody this. You got to ask them, says, okay, you don't like Trump, you don't want Trump, you want him either. Name me who do you have that is competent to replace Trump, and what evidence can you give me?
Yeah, there is nobody.
Okay, they're not going to come up with something.
No, of course they're not.
Because they have to have the evidence that person is more competent. Now, who are you going to get? Kamala Harris?
He has done more in 2 years than everybody back to Reagan.
Well, that's
has done
it. But then you got to ask, well, then who is going to take his place that you have in mind?
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi?
Oh my goodness!
Chuck Schumer?
Heaven forbid.
What's her name? Maxine Waters?
Oh my gosh, that's even worse.
How about that new gal that's on the scene? I can't.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Cortez.
Yes, yeah. Oh my gosh.
I mean, who are you going to put there that's competent in handling foreign policy, in handling economics?
That was another thing
so
when he first took over. They said he has no foreign policy. Well, I think he just kind of trumped that.
Of course.
No pun intended, but
Yeah.
I think he did. That was just.
Well,
Trump.
you take like an example, like for instance, they shut down the government. They shut. Number one, let's think about that. They shut out, and only the non-essential are shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if they're non-essential, why did you hire them in the first place?
Exactly.
If they're not essential.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that is important: the Democrats are holding that up, and Trump wants $5 billion, right? To do what? I mean, it's not like $5 billion to go on a party. He wants to put a border to protect who?
Us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And,
you can't see
and
that?
we spent $150 billion to a terrorist nation, Iran, and nobody said anything about that.
Plus the $500 billion or whatever it was that Obama gave them.
What I'm talking about, the $150 billion.
Yeah, I know what you're
Iran,
talking about. Yeah.
Right. Well, where's the outrage? Trump wants $5 billion to protect who? You and I. And look at the policeman that was just killed a couple of days ago.
Oh yeah.
By an illegal alien.
Yeah.
I mean, he wants that wall to protect the American people. Okay, now $5 billion compared to what that just the government being shot down it is enough to pay for the wall.
Yeah.
You see, but here's the thing that's interesting. Okay, Nancy and Chucky.
I like that, Nancy and Chucky. We ought to start a cartoon.
Yeah, and
I like that, Nancy and Chucky.
They want to shut. They shut down the government. Well, they're going to say. Well, Trump said it. He says, hey, don't worry about it. I'll take the blame for it. Mm-hmm. Because he's winning by it. Because guess who is shut down? 90% of the people who work for the government are Democrats.
Absolutely. They're the one that's out there crying and screaming and waving.
If Nancy is concerned about the government people, it's Democrats that she could put back to work.
Yeah.
So she's hurting her own party.
Oh, yeah.
She's hurting Democrats, not Republicans. I haven't talked to a Republican yet that says, man, leave that son of a gun shut down. I don't care if they ever bring it back.
Yeah.
I mean, what has changed? But here it is. This is important, is the fact that who is getting hurt by the shutdown? It's Democrats.
Yeah.
Now, think about how quick would this government be back, the shutdown be over with? How quick? All Nancy or Chucky have to do is get on the phone and call Trump and say, hey, you got $5 billion.
That's it.
The check's in the mail.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all they have to do.
And, their people are back working.
Mm-hmm.
So who's going to ultimately get the blame? It's going to be the Nancy and Chucky.
Well, sure.
God,
sure.
I mean,
it's going to put the pressure on Nancy and
Chucky. And all they got to do is put $5 billion, and we're saving that a day by having it shut down.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Gary, hang on a minute. We're going to take a little break here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in say 2 and 2.
Christie Majors is your local real estate connection. With a solid, hardworking team, traditional listings, short sales, probate listings, and foreclosures are treated in a personal and caring way and close in a timely fashion. Since 2009, Team Majors has closed more than $75 million worth of homes all over California. Reliable and trustworthy, Christy and her team will go the extra mile for every client, whether selling or buying a home. So give Team Majors a call at 559-464-5606 or visit teammajors.com.
After a tough day at the track, cleaning up can be a time-consuming task. That's why we use Extreme Cleaner, the non-toxic, biodegradable, multi-purpose cleaner and degreaser. Extreme Cleaner cuts through even the toughest of grease and grime. Fast. Great for cleaning tools and work surfaces. Extreme Cleaner. Tough on grime, safe on the environment. Visit extremecleaner.com to find a retailer near you.
Get your copy of Crouching Mama Hidden Veggies today, packed with recipes of delicious food cooked with hidden vegetables, so you can feel confident that you and your family are eating your veggies.
Contact Sprague Electric for all things electrical, solar installations, battery systems, troubleshooting, repairs, and more. Call 559-760-0712. SpragueElectric.com.
Are you or a member of your family beginning to show early signs of forgetfulness that may be Alzheimer's or dementia? The only way to be sure is through an expensive brain scan. Dr. Parminder Bhatia of the Neuropain Medical Center is helping in a clinical trial for those with memory problems, dementia, or mild Alzheimer's disease. Those accepted into the trial will have all costs paid for, from diagnosis to evaluations and trial medicine. There is no cost for those who are accepted in the trial, and there may even be some compensation for the patient's time and travel. For more information, call 559-437-9700, extension 310, and visit neuropain.com.
Okay, I'm back with Gary Miguel, my buddy, who's here every week, and Gary pointed something out a while back that our job is to inform and if possibly enlighten you, and we're so glad you're with us, and we hope we do that. We hope that we give you something every week that can help you. I know that we do because of the feedback and the phone calls and the texts that I get of people that appreciate what we do, and we enjoy doing it. We do, don't we, Gary?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's something that it's I guess better than talking about the weather every day.
Yeah.
No, I think people need to be engaged. Not necessarily be a fanatic like maybe I am, but
I keep saying this, and I've got to do this. Gary sends me stuff. I read everything that he sends, by the way, and I save it. I've got it all. And one of these days, we got to go over this stuff, and I think it will help you because he sends me wonderful stuff. In fact, I'll be seeing what's on there, and whenever I see Gary's, I open it immediately because I know it's going to be good. I know it's going to be informative, and man, he informs me. And I think what we need to do, Gary, I really do, is start passing some of that great stuff that you send to me onto these people because I know we do. In a sense, we do. But
you got to remember, Ray, that those are, that stuff is I read stuff which looks like to be facts and so forth, but it's also opinion. So I obviously don't expect everybody to agree with me.
No, I agree. I understand that, but it's so you haven't sent me anything that I haven't agreed with. So I think we ought to put it out there. I think we ought to give and then you have what's great about this country? You have a choice.
Yeah. And but people should be somewhat engaged, especially when we have so much to lose. Mm-hmm. If we didn't have so much to lose, then I'd say fine, we can get by lackadaisical, go fishing, and then talk about that.
Yeah.
But we're in a process of losing a tremendous amount of freedom if we're not careful.
Absolutely.
Ray, let's face it, it is totally different than it was back when you were in grammar school, or I was in grammar school. You wouldn't even think of a liberal talking the way they do on TV.
No.
I mean, you look at that and say, what country am I in?
Yeah, exactly.
But see how that slowly has gotten to a point, and it could be, to me, it's at a critical point.
It's like the bumper sticker that I saw that said, "This is not the Democratic Party of my grandfather."
Well, that's it.
And it's very true.
It's true. And the thing is, it's what's really, I guess, the most disheartening thing for me right now, or scary, I guess, is the fact that this last election, the House was taken over by the Democrats. Ray, it was because of fraud.
Well, sure it was.
And nobody's paying for it. And they got by with it.
Yeah.
And so what is scary, what happens in the next election? In other words, the kind of fraud that went on across the nation, especially California,
especially
voter
this
fraud.
state.
I mean, what is this harvesting? I've never heard of harvesting ballots. I've never even heard that term.
No.
And these people get by with coming in with votes after the polls have closed and all that, and they find them in the trunk of their car, and they find them in the back seat, and they find them here.
Could there be any bigger fraud than that?
Well,
My
and
goodness,
then what
man.
evidence is the fact that how come there's never Republican ballots? It's always Democrat ballots.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And they're blatant about it.
Yeah.
Well, then this is how these people are getting elected, and now this can take over the country. Also, look at what's happening with the judiciary system. Mm-hmm. We have the courts now that are actually are deciding what we're supposed to do with the country, not by the Constitution, but by their judiciary decisions. That's scary.
Yeah, it is.
It's run by the judiciary.
Thank goodness that Trump continues to put judges in the right position.
Well, he's got over 350 people, and it has been for 2 years, that he wants to put in in government. In other words, that we need. Yeah, these are people that we need, that are good at what they do. Yeah. That they have not been accepted. Yeah, don't think about that. They're being blocked by who? By the Democrats, as well as the Uniparty, the establishment elite. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about that before, because it's not just the Democrats by themselves. They can't do it by themselves. They got to have help from certain Republicans. Yeah. And there's certain Republicans that are helping the deep state.
Oh yeah.
That is helping.
We pointed out a long time ago that
exactly.
It's not just all Democrats.
No, it's not. And and we've gotten rid of, little by little, we're getting rid of some of those Republicans, and but that's really in a sense a bigger enemy than the Democrat, because you already know what the Democrat's going to do. But you certainly would like to be able to count on people on your buddy.
Yeah.
And when you can't do that, who's your biggest enemy? It was your buddy that stabbed you in the back.
Absolutely.
Not the guy that you already knew was.
And look, and that's happening right along.
Oh, it's happening. Mitch McConnell is probably one of the biggest. Him and that what's his name, Paul Ryan.
Oh gosh, what a disappointment Paul Ryan was.
Well, yeah, but see, he's in the hip pocket of all those people.
Well, sure he is.
So is the Mitch McConnell. If
Sure,
you go back
sure
and look
they
at the history of how those people started, which I've done, it's pretty interesting. I mean, they're all bought, paid for, you know. And a Republican that is in that, the rhinos, their job is nothing more to get reelected and then do what they're told by the Uniparty.
Sure.
Because the Uniparty is
They're
called...
bought and paid for.
Well, it's called Uniparty for a reason, because it's both Democrats and Republicans, of which neither one of them is in the best interest of the common Democrat and the common Republican.
Yeah.
They are in that's a league of their own, and
exactly.
they're a anti-American league. I mean, what do you think globalism is all about? What do you think this wall thing is all about? Man,
That's a good example, Gary.
Yeah, it's sovereignty is what we're counting on, but they're willing to do away with it and make America a one world order, which to me that means that you have to accept being miserable like everybody else.
Yeah.
Eventually, that's their idea. Is that okay? Trump's idea is prosperity for Americans
and for all Americans.
And guess what? He also says the same thing for a foreign country. He says,
take Mexico, for instance.
Yeah, exactly.
Good example.
Well, Trump's talking about shutting the border down now.
Yeah.
Entirely. That's going to hurt Mexico.
Yeah.
Big time. And if he doesn't get this done here shortly, the whole border will be shut down. That's going to hurt Mexico a lot.
It's going to make them make some decisions.
It's going to make them make, and I'll tell you where he's going to go. He'll go back to pre-NAFTA. That's going to be a pain.
Oh boy!
And you'll see a tremendous amount of pressure being put
Sure.
on the Mexican government right now in terms of immigration. Mexico's got 10 times the tougher immigration laws than the United States.
Yeah.
As far as that goes. But they're allowing these caravans, and they allow all these illegal. Well, if they're illegal coming into our country, they're also illegal coming into Mexico.
Well, certainly they are.
Especially with their laws the
Sure.
way it is. And but they're again, they're being paid to turn the other way, and I don't know. It gets kind of discouraging in a sense, but also when you start digging into it, Ray, I mean, we've got a long way to go yet.
Yeah, I know we do.
And a lot of people are starting to get a little more knowledgeable about it, But man, you're just not going to get it in the press, what we call the media or something,
They're owned by the wrong people.
Well, the change, people are going to social media, and it's got its drawbacks, But boy, I'll tell you what, it's where people are going, and that's what is getting the exposure, the necessary exposure for what really it is.
It is.
I've done that just to see. You see a subject being covered in the media on TV, then you go into the social media and you find out what really.
Oh, absolutely, Gary. You told me that a long time ago, and you're right, because I've done it.
It's night and day. Well,
It is night and day.
Okay, Trump says a sentence, and they cover this part of the sentence, but they didn't cover the second part.
Oh, of course not. They cover exactly enough,
Well, Trump
to
might
benefit them.
Yeah, he might say something that's negative, but only to be used as an example because this is what's positive.
But they don't.
They just said, "Well, Trump said this." Yeah, he said that, but he also said this.
Yeah.
You never hear about
Yeah.
that.
Oh God.
It's
it's incredible to me. The false, the lies, the corruption. It just blows me away. I never realized it. I didn't realize it to this extent.
I didn't either
until Donald Trump got elected.
Oh, I
Did
didn't
you?
either. No, none of us did.
You
I mean, I had no idea. In fact, I never heard the term deep state. Didn't even know what it was about. I had no idea the FBI was as corrupt as it is.
My gosh,
I had no
there's
idea
another-
the CIA. I had no idea the Department of Justice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking about being able to frame
Yeah.
American citizens.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what that FISA deal.
Yeah.
That's all. What that's all about. They can go and pick on you out there because somebody else says I
You
want.
made that a good example of,
Yeah.
with me
Yeah.
that time, you know.
Some
They
guy
just-
with a mobile park says, "Man, we need Ray out of there." Well, I got a buddy over there that's a judge with FISA, and we'll get the Department of Justice, and they go and false evidence
Yeah.
and frame you,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing you can do about it.
Next thing you know, I'm paying a fine or I'm headed for prison.
Oh, you're in prison, and there's some people that are in prison right now because you don't have the money to fight it.
Yeah.
So you sit there and you agree to a plea. Well, 2 months in jail. How about that, Ray? Well, you should never go to begin with.
No.
But you take the 2 months in jail because that's better than what
The
they're getting.
alternative might be
Yeah.
20. Yeah.
Well, or the alternative might be they're going to bankrupt you, they're going to ruin you.
Yeah.
And you have no defense because it's the power of the federal.
How sad is that?
How sad is that?
This is America. I mean, how
Exactly.
sad is that they can actually do that and do it?
And they do it, and they're doing it right now. They're trying to do it with Trump. You know,
Yeah.
you got Mueller. That's nothing more than that whole thing's a frame job.
Well, sure it is.
That's what the public is seeing, though. They're seeing how they are able to use the power of that FISA, the court system, the DOJ, and the CIA, and if they can, the Internal Revenue, all that,
Yeah.
and apply it to Trump to get him impeached.
Sure.
That's what that's all about.
Yeah.
Well, if they can do it to Trump, they can do it to you.
Absolutely.
Okay, was there any justice in that? No. Okay, maybe, let's say there was to carry on with that and destroy his family, destroy his business, destroy everything. If they can do that to Trump, think what they can do to you.
Sure.
And guess what? They will.
God, they're just so powerful. So powerful.
Well, it's not the way America should be, you see.
No, of course not.
Well, you take that's getting back to your mobile park out here. There's a guy here in town, and he goes over to the right people, and he says, "Look, here's 50 grand for this. Here's 50 grand to you, 50 grand to you, 50 grand to you. You go over and take care of Ray." Mm-hmm. That 50 grand is what did it. It wasn't that you were guilty,
Yeah.
but you had to plead guilty because you couldn't fight that 50 grand, 50 grand,
No.
50 grand all over.
No.
So you had to sit there and say, "I'll take a plea."
Yeah.
Man, that was the easiest. Man, that was the easiest way out for me. But were you guilty? No.
No.
But you had no choice.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing.
That's sad.
And that
Now,
is
you tell me
scary.
how sad that is. It's
more
very
than,
scary.
It's more than sad. It's scary because that's the kind of power that the
And they will do anything. They will do whatever it takes.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I mean, they're doing whatever they can to discredit Donald Trump.
well, he's standing by himself now. More and more people are starting to see him that he's alone. His own people are backstabbing.
Yeah.
You see, and I don't
It's
know.
pretty easy to get in somebody's pocketbook.
I don't see how in the world he does it and why he does it, you know, and plus on top of that, he does all this for free.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Does that tell you a lot about the man? I mean, he's for right. He's for this country. He's for making this country great again, which is been a slogan the whole time.
Everybody, they shut the government down Christmas holiday. Nancy Pelosi, she's over in Hawaii right now in a resort. She's having a great time. And all these congressmen and senators, man, they're all enjoying their Christmas break, holiday. Where's Trump? He stayed in Washington, D.C. He's supposed to go to Mar-a-Lago with his family.
Yeah.
No, he didn't do that. He stayed in Washington, D.C. In fact, Christmas night, he gets in an airplane, flies over, and says hello to the troops.
Yeah. Wasn't that great?
And now he signs some hats, and now they're getting on him for signing hats.
It doesn't matter what he does.
It doesn't
They're
matter.
They're going
I
to
mean,
find some
there's
reason.
pictures of Obama signing hats.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I
you didn't
mean,
hear anything about that, did
Oh,
you?
of course not.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Once you start realizing just how ridiculous, you know, it's you just get there and you just start tuning stuff off. You say, listen, I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk to them. You know, some of the cockamamie that they come up with, I mean, there's thank God there's not very many people anymore that want to even discuss it. Yeah. You know, because it is disgusting.
Yeah.
You know. But there's stuff that is exciting, you know, as far as I'm positive that we're going to get the wall done.
Oh, I think so too.
I'm positive that we're going to get China deal done.
Two big things right there. Two major things right
well,
there.
those are the two biggest things there is.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're the two biggest.
And we get those two done. We haven't seen anything yet.
No.
You know. Well, I should.
Well, it's like it said. Once we do all this, like you said, we haven't seen anything with the economy yet.
Right.
You watch and look. It's great right now and getting better, but it's going to be phenomenal when this happens.
Well, right now, people with their 401ks and stuff are probably upset because the market's coming down. But you got to remember, there's a transfer, and that is the transfer of wealth from Wall Street to Main Street.
Yeah.
There's two separate trains going down the track.
Yeah.
And poor Main Street got sidetracked over here for the last 40, 50 years.
Oh, yeah.
It's so far away you can't see it.
Now they're coming back.
They're bringing it back. And now that money is going to go to the people.
Yeah.
Not to Wall Street.
Gosh, man. Can't they see this? Can't they see this? Oh, my goodness. Well, Gary, like it happens every week, when you're on, time flies by. And like to have you come back next week. Can you do that?
Ray, I got to get me a slower hourglass for you then.
You got a what?
Get you a slower hourglass.
That's
for
what
you.
I need. I need one slower. You're right, buddy.
Not so much sand.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, like we say every week, and I this thing has come full circle now. I've got policemen coming up to me and shaking my hands and saying, "Aren't you the guy that on the news that tells people to come up and shake our hands?" And it makes me feel so good. It's come full circle. I get this all the time. So please, let's continue to give praise to our law enforcement officers, okay? They do a thankless job, okay? And they do a great job of protecting and helping us, okay? So when you see one, maybe he's sitting under a tree having lunch, go ahead, interrupt his lunch. Walk up and stick your hand out and tell him how much we appreciate what they do, because they enjoy that. And I told you a few months back when I said this to this gal. She looked like she was too short to be a policeman. She was way down there, a little blind. She got out of the car and hugged me, and all these people are driving by saying, "Oh, my God, why is that little cop hugging that big black guy?" It was kind of funny. We both laughed about it. I told her.
Funny.
And she said, "Oh, the heck with him," And it was just, and she told me, she said, "I love what I do." She said, "I wish I'd remembered her name." She's just a wonderful person and a perfect example of what we've got here in our men and women in the police department. And it goes even beyond that. I talked to a couple of highway patrolmen the other day, and they both got out of their car. The one guy was on the side of the driver, and he came around and actually shook my hand, and he said, "Well, we really appreciate that." So,
well, the people of America, they're more representative of the people of America.
Absolutely they are.
Than these anti-Americans they show on TV every night.
You wouldn't believe how many policemen tell me. I had a big black cop tell me the other day, big guy looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he stuck his hands, he says, "I like your shirt." I said, "You do?" He says, "Yes, I do." And so you're right, Gary. You're absolutely right.
The thing is that there are actually, that's all over America. That's farmers. That's anybody. That's anybody. It's somebody, a clerk down at Walmart. And stuff.
Yeah.
Those people are all nice people.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the way the press tries to make it, they only show those. You think every American's like those people?
Yeah.
No, they're not.
No.
I never run across people like they're showing me on
That's interesting. You don't. You really don't.
Think about when you go down to your local Walmart, Costco, or gas station, or whatever you go, and walk in there and look at the people and watch them. Do they look like the ones that they show on TV? The Americans, they think they'd have you think all Americans like those.
Of course
people.
they do.
They're not.
That's another
I
one
never
of
meet
their ploys.
any of them.
Yeah. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, please, when you get a chance, go up, shake their hands, and tell them how much we appreciate them, because they appreciate knowing how we feel about them, okay? Because they get so much negative things from people all the time. People yelling at them and screaming at them and just being idiots as they are. And so it's nice to have good people go up and praise them for what they do. So until we meet again next Friday at 3 p.m., heaven's blessings.
Shining seas, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me.
With Organic Pastures raw milk, you're getting a product that has been meticulously managed from grass to glass. From our pastures to our dairy, creamery, and distribution, we work hard to produce a product that is safe and clean for you.
Chef Big Will presents the original Bonton Cafe. Stop by 7307 Highway 49 North in Mariposa for the best blackened or southern fried catfish. Go and eat good food and sweet drinks, including but not limited to Cajun and Creole, smoking barbecue, hush puppies, fried pickles, alligator tail, etouffee, prime rib, tri-tip, po' boy sandwiches, crawfish, oysters, fried okra, and so much more. Daily lunch and dinner specials. Sunday brunch from 10 to 2. Enjoy the taste of New Orleans at the original Bonton Cafe. And see their full menu at theoriginalbontoncafe.com.
The Saga of Bridget and Amanda by Carol Love Forbes brings to life the struggles of historical women in early America. Find the Saga of Bridget and Amanda on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and order your copy today.
Harness the power of the sun and cut your electric bill down to size with Soltech Solar. Call today and request a free quote at 559-325-6907 or visit soltechsolar.com.
Looking for work? Tired of minimum wage? For as low as $200, become certified as a forklift driver at the Certified Forklift Training Center. Call 559-325-8097 or visit cftc.net.
Fresno Dixieland Society presents the Sounds of Mardi Gras, February 7th to the 10th, 2019, at the Doubletree by Hilton. Get your tickets today. For more information, go to FresnoDixie.com or call Linda at 209-534-1924. Again, that's